Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel are free and easy for you, and they help me out a lot. If you want to go further with your support, Patreon and YouTube membership offer access to the BoshNRoll Discord community, early access to lists, written content, things like that. You can have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use YouTube membership, you also get sweet badges and emotes integrated here into YouTube. You can support the channel while you shop at tcgplayer.com by using my affiliate link in the video description, and you can play any deck anytime by using a cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. If you want to wear your support, check out the merch store. And of course, thanks for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome to another BoshNRoll video. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Harper, I am playing trusty Izzet Murktide in Modern. I played this deck on the channel pretty recently, and I was impressed by it. Obviously, I mean, it's a tier 1 Modern deck. There's a lot to be impressed by. If you watch my content, you know that I haven't played a lot of Ragavan Delver in Legacy, despite it being obviously the best deck. It's just not really my style. But in Modern, I do like this sort of thing a lot more than I do in Legacy. I don't have a super strong justification for that explanation, but I do like being aggressive in Modern. I think that Ragavan is at a really appropriate power level in Modern, and just the idea that you can tread through your deck and turn 2 Murktide in this format just makes me so happy. It makes my heart aflutter. Blood Moon and Alpine Moon are really exciting sideboard cards that I like having in Modern, and this deck just makes me happy. This list is the one that Harper played at Magic Fest Vegas a couple months ago, so this is his real try-hard deck, and I would hope so, because if you show up to the casual table with this, your friends are going to be disappointed. This is a deck full of 4-ofs, 4 Bauble, 4 Consider, 4 DRC, 4 Rag, 4 Unholy Heat, 4 Counterspell, 4 Expressive Iteration, 4 Murktide. The flex slots, there's 2 Serum Visions, only 3 Lightning Bolts, 1 Brazen Bee, 2 Archmage's Charm, and 1 Engineered Explosives. The main deck's explosives is pretty spicy. I like that. And there's not really a whole lot to say about this deck. If you've played Modern or Legacy at all since Modern Horizons 2 was released, you are familiar with what this deck's trying to do. We're going to get advantage early with Ragavan and Dragon's Rage Channeler, test their removal, and then turn the corner, and Big Fatty Daddy Murktide Regent. Once the removal has already been spent on these must-answer 1-drops, we're going to have Murktide Regent with Counterspell Protection and just shove through. Card selection and consider Serum Visions and DRC triggers, and then Expressive Iteration to pull a head-on card advantage. Archmage's Charm, card advantage, or Counterspell, depending on what you need. This deck is an efficient murder machine. Let's go get into it. I'm on the draw in round 1. And it's unfortunate that our 1 land is Fiery Islet. I hope this is a matchup where my life total isn't extremely relevant, but I'm not going to mulligan this hand. I'm on the draw. I have Dragon's Rage Channeler with an immediate trigger off Mishra's Bauble, and then I have cantrips to... I have a lot of cantrips and Surveillance to find my second land, and then we're playing. Or I could just draw Island, but I still think getting DRC down on turn 1 is worth the point. If I drew Mountain or Steam Vents, obviously I would have started with that. Consider, I can put that right in the graveyard, and I'm going to bauble them immediately. Azusa. Alright, so we're playing against Amulet. Those sideboard Blood Moons are going to be clutch. And holding up Counterspell on turn 2 for the Azusa, because they're going to tutor up Amulet with Saga. And then I have to pinch their payoff card of Azusa. This is a Cavern of Souls deck also. Got to worry about that a little bit. Like if they Cavern Azusa and then play Bounce Land, pick up Cavern, Bounce Land untaps, play Bounce Land. Okay, I don't think they can Azusa and Primetime next turn. I just got to hope a Cavern's not involved. Fighting over the Primetime is also an important aspect of this matchup. Unholy Heat's pretty important for that reason. That's a card I'm now looking for. Because I'm on the draw, I'm a turn behind stealing their Amulet with Archmage's Charm before they can do anything with it. I'm holding up Counterspell this turn, though, which they should be reading with every part of their brain, just seeing blue up against the deck that's full of 1-drops and cantrips and ways to advance Dragon's Rage Channeler. Like, I would have loved to cast Serum Visions there, but that's not the game I've been offered to play. Interesting. They're making a construct this turn. That means they're not planning on using that mana when we know they're holding Azusa, and they could have cast her. But they could just be manipulating around the counterspell, which is really smart because I don't have Consider or any instant I can cast. If I don't counterspell something this turn, this is wasted mana. One of the ways to beat tempo decks is to not play into their tempo. Like, if you have a thing like Urza's Saga, like what they did right now, they might not cast a spell this turn. And when I'm blatantly holding up counterspell, that's very clever. Now I have to decide next turn, if I don't draw a land, like, do I want to Serum Visions, hope that I can still hold up counterspell? Okay, that's good. I found a target for counterspell, and because I have 2 of them, I don't need to be careful with this. I would really like this card selection. DRC into the graveyard. Yeah, I'll take that card selection. And I just cracked off a counterspell. Come on, Island. Murky Rage. Now I have the choice of Serum Visions, which gets 2 looks because I get to surveil first, then I got to draw. If I miss, I could just die. Oh, that's scary. How many lands are in this deck? Let's do a count. 19 lands in the deck. One of them doesn't tap for blue, so 18 lands in the deck, minus these 2. There's 16 hits out of 47 cards, and I got 2 looks at it. All right, I'm just gonna hold up and pass again. Knowing that I'm just literally dead, if they cast Primeval Titan this turn, or if they resolve Primeval Titan this turn, like, they have the amulet, they have Castle right here. We know there's a land in their hand. Oh wait, do we? No, never mind. I thought my brain said bounce land because there was 1 less land, but it's because the Saga died. We don't actually know if they have a land or not. The only thing we know about their hand is that Azusa's in it. Okay, Azusa's no longer in their hand. They are working through my counterspells, though. If I can find the land in my top 2 cards, I'm holding up Archmage Charm after this. Okay, Mill the Brazen Bee. That's not the kind of tempo I'm looking for. Like, I'm not attacking right now. Why would I? Like, I'm not pushing damage. Bouncing Primeval Titan isn't exactly the play. We're attacking for 2. Alright, deck, time to pay me out. Lightning Bolt. Alright, I'm going to have to Serum Visions here. I could Murk. Murk is 1, 2, 3. It's a 5/5. It's still smaller than Primeval Titan. Alright, I can't Murk. Serum Visions into the graveyard. Draw for turn. Or draw for Serum Visions. Ugh. Ragavan I don't think is going to play anymore. I'll take the Steam Vents on top. I guess if I'm going to cast this Lightning Bolt, I should have kept Steam Vents a second from the top and milled the Ragavan. I guess I just have to hope they don't have Primeval Titan somehow in this deck that's built to have Primeval Titan. And their lands currently don't cast Primeval Titan. They don't have green to filter into the castle. But they have Amulet and 4 cards in hand. I am not optimistic. Summoner's Pact. Okay, they have Primeval Titan. The only card they have to think about here is Unholy Heat. And even if I have it, it's like, okay, great. My Primeval Titan's dead, but I just ramped twice. Can easily pay for Pact next turn. They can't double strike the Primeval Titan this turn because they had to use Sunhome to cast it. Yeah, I guess they could get Vesuva and copy Sunhome. Yeah, they can still do it. Not a legend, despite having a name. But they have to get the Boros Garrison and the Haste Vigilance land. Do they have 2 Vesuvas? I'm trying to figure out how they can double strike me to death. Oh, they're bogging me. Interesting. Oh, they're just setting up a slow control. Oh, they're betting that I already have Unholy Heat. That's really cool. Okay. I don't know if that's a standard play pattern or if that's just giving a lot of respect to my hand that actually isn't very good. Especially with these 3 Murktides now that I've been bogged. Okay, that's gone. Dryad. Okay, now I'm in extra trouble. My top card is Steam Vents. I can't remove a Dryad. I'm dead to a Primeval Titan attack next turn, and I can't do anything about it attacking. But the only thing I can do is Bolt Construct token, mill the Steam Vents, draw a draw a Consider, mill a different card type off the Surveil, mill a different card type off the Consider Surveil, like the DRC Surveil, then the Consider Surveil, and then the third card down has to be just randomly a Unholy Heat after I get Delirium. And even that only answers one of these three threats. I am not going to do that. I'm probably just going to concede. But they've been playing pretty slow, so I'm going to have them play it out. Shock and Steam Vents. And is there anything I can steal before the turn starts that is relevant? I don't think so. To pay for their pact. They were definitely correct in their bet that Bajuka Bog was plenty. They didn't need to swing for the fences here. They're miles ahead. There's a Cavern that's going to deal 3 to me. Right, I'm just going to F6 and let them do their thing. Just attacking kills me. The Primeval Titan trigger kills me. The combat damage kills me. I'm dead in 1,000 different ways. Not even going to play the Archmage Charm. I could steal Construct and try to block, but even before blocks, the Primeval Titan or the Valakut can zap it. Yeah, we just missed our window to control them, and once they're out of your bubble, you're not getting back. Especially game 1 when you don't have Blood Moon to draw to. Let's reach for those Blood Moons immediately out of the sideboard. 2 Blood Moon, 1 Alpine Moon. Torpor Orb. Hits the Primeval Titan. That's relevant. Force of Negation, Mystical Dispute, Jace, Fluster. None of those seem great. In Force of Negation, we can fight over a Cast Amulet or a Pact of Summoning, Summoner's Pact. Dispute doesn't matter. Fluster doesn't matter. And Jace is a card advantage machine at some point. But I think I don't need that. I think I just need to be a death machine. So Orb and the 3 Moons are coming in. Engineered Explosives can destroy a resolved Orb, or it can clean out Construct tokens if they're on that plan. But other than that, it's not mega effective here. I think that keeping Dryad and Primeval Titan out of the mix is going to be my game plan. Lightning Bolt kills Azusa, but not Primeval Titan or Dryad, which are the really important creatures. Ragavan could have trouble connecting through the big butts, but I'm on the play, and I'm not going to board out Ragavans on the play. I'll consider it on the draw. Lightning Bolt can also go face to end a race. It's also a high velocity spell for DRC, but I don't think that's where I want to be. The Lightning Bolt and Engineered Explosives, you can find reasonable targets for these things, but in general, they're not really part of the plan, where Blood Moon and Torpor Orb just bring the ruckus all the time. Yeah, this looks good to me. I'm in. There's no Abrade or Ancient Grudge. Well, there's no green mana. Why would there be Ancient Grudge? There's no like artifact destruction specifically in this sideboard. There's all those Ragavans I didn't board out, but no land. Unfortunate. Mulligan. Okay, Alpine Moon. I'm going to keep this and hope to clip a Saga with the Alpine Moon. Like I'm going to bottom Basic Mountain, and I'll probably do the Bobble trick on myself. I keep this bottom Basic Mountain. And the Bobble trick is you can bobble yourself if you have a fetch land, and it's like scry 1 draw a card. It's like half of a Preordain. Right, Basic Island on top. I do not want that, so I'll fetch for a tapped Steam Vents. Or do I just fetch for Basic Island? Do I start planning for Blood Moon already? I don't know. The red cards in my deck are so much better in the early turns than the blue cards. I'm going to get Steam Vents and earmark this next fetch land for a basic. Ended up drawing Steam Vents, which is worse than basic probably. Let's hope they lead on Saga again, and I can just Stone Rain them. Beautiful. Not so beautiful. Ugh. Fiery Islet. Tough beats. Right. Alpine Moon. If you remove the text of Urza Saga or turn it into something else, it dies instantly because the game still recognizes a saga with more lore cards on it than chapters it has, because a mountain has 0 chapters. So that's just a 1 mana Stone Rain. They have the Amulet of Vigor though, and I'm not really doing anything with the rest of this hand. Oh. If they have Force of Vigor, they get to nuke both of these, if I run out the second one. I guess I'm making my play. Yeah, Force of Vigor would be rough here. Right, they didn't have it that turn. I probably should have taken a turn, though, to develop with Fiery Islet. Like, draw a card while I still can, and then... Ugh. Yeah, this is getting ugly. I can't cast the card in my hand. Can't draw a card off my Fiery Islet. Blood Moon doesn't hold the fort forever. You really do need to pressure. Unholy Heat, 2 card types in my graveyard. I'd really like a Consider or a Ragavan. I would take Ragavan. Counterspell I can't cast. Yeah, maybe fetching Basic Island early on was more important than I gave it credit for. My hand had red. Yeah, there's not really an excuse for this. Okay, another double blue card. They stop making land drops. That means they have 6 spells in their hand. Okay, there's Consider. That's a good one. I'm going to Consider now. Put Ragavan into your graveyard? No. I will actually take that one. I can dash it immediately. And that gives me blue mana. Bang. Exiled Windswept Heath from their deck. There are 3 card types in my graveyard. I'm untapping with Counterspell next turn, so let's survive this turn. Force of Vigor they can only cast on my turn, so they would have to let me untap into Counterspell. Okay, once I found the pressure, they decided that was enough. Woof. That was a stressful one. Lesson learned. Fetch that Basic Island. You might not get another chance. Flusterstorm probably doesn't interact with Force of Vigor. Like, if I'm trying to line up a situation where I resolve Blood Moon and just protect it, just protect the queen, ride it to victory, Flusterstorm, they have to cast that spell on my turn, and if they're killing Blood Moon, then they probably haven't spent any other mana, and they just have X mountains in play, where X is whatever turn it is. Yeah, that sounds pretty bad. I don't think my deck changes on the draw. I mean, I mentioned like Ragavan being a potential cut for the draw. If I expect the game to go longer, I could like cut 1 Ragavan for 1 Jace, but I do like the early pressure of Ragavan and the mana fixing under my own inevitable Blood Moon. Just going in with the same deck. For game 3, I have this really strong hand. I have turn 1 Ragavan or DRC. I have my colors. I can even fetch a basic for when I find Blood Moon, but I even have a potent sideboard card in Torpor Orb. This is a good start. Firebluff Canal, I even get to save my 2 life points. And I'm putting Rag down. Let's just let them know. They're on notice. It's monkey time. If you can't remove or put something onto the board, I'm aping. I'm going ape. Ragavan also facilitates turn 2 Archmage Charm, which, like, if they cast Amulet this turn, I can just take it. Nope, but they are being extremely honest. Just bounce land, go. Picking up their basic. No 1 mana spell. It's playing Ravnica Limited over there, which is fine, don't get me wrong. Still a good play. Rag, Connection, Exiled Slayer Stronghold. Well, there's 1 combo piece out of their deck. We take those. I'm going to fetch my Basic Island and then cast DRC and Torpor Orb. Guess I don't really need Torpor Orb right away, but I'll take the Surveil while I got it. Bobble into the graveyard. I don't need that. The purpose of Bobble is to find a new card and get an artifact in your graveyard, and by milling it, I put an artifact directly into my graveyard, and I just get the next card. I get to skip the whole Bobble thing. I lose the Surveil off DRC by not casting it, but I think it's fine for velocity. Alright, here's this lady. They have 2 more land drops this turn. And now they can block Ragavan. First land drop. They don't have Amulet though, so they're just playing lands. Next turn is prime time though, which is just a 6/6, but a 6/6 is still a thing on this board. Drawing Blood Moon right now would be pretty great. Counterspell instead. I can Brazen Borrower Azusa, get a Surveil, connect with my friends, and hold up Counterspell for next turn. I think that's fine. I'm going to Shotgun Steam Vents, then Brazen Bee, get a Surveil, Consider. I'll put that in the graveyard and connect with my homies. Because I'm likely to Counterspell this turn. Oh, I got Summoner's Pact. Should I jam it? That's not a card you cast in this deck. It would be difficult to pay for, and you'd be disappointed with the results once you search your deck for a green card. Okay, if they have just slowly ground up to Cavern of Souls Primeval Titan here, I have to beat a 6/6. That still gets an attack trigger, even if it doesn't get an ETB trigger. And that's not easy to do. All right, I lined up this turn where I counterspell Azusa. I would counterspell basically anything here. I'm just trying to keep my velocity moving forward. I would like to become Delirious. Murktide Regent. I am not ready for that. That makes me Delirious also. I have attackers. Dealing damage is not the problem. I would like to start locking them out with Blood Moon. Oh, I could dash a second Ragavan and get 2 cards. That's not how that works. Please don't do that. All right, they take 5 this time. Now there's a real clock. Exiled Cavern of Souls. Well, I'm glad to see that one go, given the texture of my hand right now. And I'm going to pass the turn with my counter spells up. Juka Bog. Okay, that makes my friend smaller. No problem. Ragavan is the more important friend right now. I have the choice to draw 2 with Archmage Charm or Slam Brazen Borrower, and I'm going to go the tempo game rather than the control game. Having an extra 3 points on this board is a big deal. Oh, that's also a big deal. Can I get Delirium before combat, and does it matter? I'm going to attack first, and then I'll Expressive Iteration later. I could also just not Expressive Iteration and hold up both Archmage Charm and Counterspell going into their turn. Does that matter? I don't think they're going to double spell me for lethal. So I'll iterate here. I still have a land drop as well. I'm going to hard cast Force of Vigor on like a Treasure and Torpor Orb. They started tapping mana. Just land in the graveyard. Iteration. 3 lands, cool. Okay, I'm going to put Scalding Tarn in my hand, Steam Vents on the bottom, exile island, play island. And that's my turn. Now I can counterspell even if they do destroy one of my treasures with Force of Vigor. Yeah, I'm not going to fight over this. It happened. They would need to have slow rolled exactly Amulet, Primetime, Cavern of Souls. And even if they did all that, I can counter the Amulet. And then the Primetime doesn't kill me. Right, Summoner's Pact resolves. Oh, they have a crazy art, Primeval Titan. And they did sandbag a Cavern. So they're going to get their Primetime here. But they don't have the Amulet. And the Haste land has already been exiled from their deck. Not to say that I'm just good to go here, but could be worse. There is the Titan. It cannot be countered. They can use their Radiant Fountain and Bojuka Bog with Vesuvas and Bounce lands to kind of control what I'm doing and blunt my aggression while they navigate with the Primeval Titan. Yeah, they got Vesuva. I expected that. Yeah, naming Bojuka Bog. And my graveyard's gone. Okay, now I'm drawing 3 with Archmage Charm. I need to find Unholy Heat and get Delirium. Counterspell in the graveyard. Found Unholy Heat. I have 3 card types locked up to go in the graveyard. I can also Legend Rule Ragavan or just attack. Yeah, I have options here. I'm gonna fetch first because once I surveil or scry with my Serum Visions, I'm gonna want to keep those around. Fiery Islet into the graveyard. I don't actually want either of these cards. I already have lots of lands and I already have a Murktide Regent. And then I play Ragavan, keep the original one, and then I have Delirium, Unholy Heat with Counterspell up, and also a lethal attack. Yeah, they're dead. Okay. New Ragavan. Keep the Orig. Unholy Heat your 6/6. And put land into the graveyard. It's crazy that they just Bojuka Bogged me, and then I just untap and have Delirium anyway. Sweet deck. Okay. Powerful stuff out of the blue-red Delver deck. Delverless Delver, blue-red Murktide. On to the next one. I'm on the play in round 2 against someone without a companion. Interesting. Decks without companions are like this deck and Titan, basically. I'm going to keep. I have turn 1 Ragavan with some velocity options. I'm going to bobble them and get a feel for what they're doing. Search for tomorrow. Okay. They're a scape shift deck. Didn't know people were still shifting scapes in 2022. That's cool. They're going to have to choose between suspending their search for tomorrow or trying to interact with the Ragavan. They can't do both. So Rag's going to get to connect at least once or make their life awkward. Search for tomorrow is now on suspend. I didn't draw a land, but I don't really need it yet. I'm going to attack them first, and then I can expressive iteration instead of Serum Visions looking for that land. Get 3 looks instead of 1. Blue, red, iteration. Oh, yikes. Murktide region in my hand, Murktide region on the bottom, and I guess I'll exile Engineered Explosives. Just cast it for 0. All right, no lands in my top 4 cards on my deck. 5 cards in my deck. I also bobbled. Yeah, that's a tough beat. This would be a bad time for them to Lightning Bolt Ragavan. Sakura Tri-Belter, that's so much worse. I'm going to attack, and they're probably just going to block sack. Fine. If they want to trade that costs them a land, I don't think they're going to trade. I would love it if they did, though. Wow, they just took the trade. Deal. I have another Ragavan. Do I want to consider to hit the land? I'm going to consider. That sees more cards right now than Serum Visions does. I put DRC in the graveyard and deck. Yeah, I've seen 1/4 of my deck right now. A full 1 out of 4 cards in my deck I have seen at this point in the game, and have 1 land to show for it. Technically 2, I fetched for it. Their search resolved, they explored. I'm in trouble. Like, I have neither counterspell nor the land to cast counterspell at this point. Yeah, I'm just dead next turn because we haven't hit any land drops. Okay, there's 1. Now I have to represent counterspell. I have to make them think about it a little bit. Even if it's not, like, good. Oh, Bloodbraid Elf, wow. Farseek. I'm gonna... Do I bolt Bloodbraid Elf? Yeah. They might have Primeval Titan in their deck that I could save Unholy Heat for, and their face is not particularly soft right now for bolting. DRC, I can dash Ragavan, I can Serum Visions. I'm gonna crack this, cast Serum Visions. Awkward. Bottom, top, bobble. I guess I should have played DRC here, because I'm not representing the counterspell anyway. For tomorrow is on top of their deck. Okay, here's Ragavan. I'm not representing counterspell anyway. Go nuts. This deck doesn't play Force of Negation in the main, so they should know that the coast is clear. Oh, Summoner's Pact. Oh, they're just raw dogging Valakuts. That's gonna kill me too. That's even worse than Scapeshift, I think. I held on to the Unholy Heat, so glad I made that play. But we are in the shock zone. I got 2 Valakuts. They play a mountain, zap me twice, or zap Ragavan and me. They can fetch to get 2 more lightning bolts. Okay, so I have to Unholy Heat and then play Murktide Regent out of the bolt range. Oh wait, no, they have Search for Tomorrow in their hand. They can just cast. Never mind. They're just showing off by killing Ragavan. They have me dead. I guess I'm technically at 1 and dead to their next land. This is like a straight up 2015 modern deck, and I'm kind of here for it. It killed me real good. I'm not going to play this out hoping they never draw another mountain. They are empty, but I can't fetch. Like, if I could have fetched and played Murktide, I don't know. Maybe there was more game. If I had thought about them being hellbent, maybe I would have tried to play it out a little bit, but it would have been a heartbreaking disaster. All right, Torpor Orb. I do like Force of Negation because they probably have Scapeshift. Blood Moon and Alpine Moon turn Valakut into mountains, which is where I need to be. Engineered Explosives is much worse here than even it is against Amulet. Lightning Bolt. We saw Bloodbraid Elf, but I'm not going to leave Lightning Bolt in my deck just for that. I expect this deck to have some sort of sideboard pivot with, like, I don't know, like Thragtusk or like whatever the good green creatures are right now. Tireless Tracker, maybe. I still have removal in the deck. And maybe I don't want the Force of Negations. Being able to tap out into Scapeshift is nice, but being just dead to Primeval Titan anyway. and a lot of their things are creatures. Can I make this better? Like, do I want lightning bolts in the deck? And if I do, what am I cutting for them? I think what I'm cutting for them is the problem. I don't hate lightning bolt. I could like shave on Mishra's Baubles and a Murktide Regent and keep my lightning bolts. Yeah, maybe I like that. I do expect some sort of pivot out of them. And I know it's a small sample size, but Murktide Regent has been the most awkward and bad draw of the 4 games we've played so far. But obviously the deck is built around the card. Like, I've played the card, I know what it's like, but it has been... We haven't had a good spot for it in 4 games yet. It's pretty impressive in a deck that's built to play it. This is a keep. Contains Blood Moon. I'm going to lead on Islet. And if they get into the Valakut shock zone, I'm dead anyway. So normally against Valakut, you want to try to stay above 18 life if you can, or against Scapeshift. But if they're on this like fair version, then it doesn't really matter. Right here, I can consider and Lightning Bolt to just Turbo Shred. I think I do want to do it that way rather than play the Torpor Orb now. Oh, do I want Ragavan on top? I do. Yeah, I could just cast Ragavan now, but if they have like... Alright, now I'm putting it in the graveyard. I'm single-minded to find my 3rd land for Blood Moon. There it is. Okay. And then... Other fetching. I hope... Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna save the Lightning Bolt. I could reasonably hit Delirium off of the Surveil right now, but 2 damage... 2 extra damage versus maybe answering an actual creature. Farseek, you got it. I think now I actually do want to bolt. Because I'm going to spend my next turn casting Blood Moon. Rest of Iteration, that does give me a sorcery. Yeah, okay. Let's get Delirium. Archmage Charm is pretty cool, but Blood Moon's cooler. Ragavan, I actually want that on top. That's a good one. Next turn I can dash Ragavan, then use the treasure to cast Torpor Orb. And I'm Delirious for Unholy Heat, in case that matters. I have Flying against Bloodbraid Elf. They hit Search for Tomorrow. That does get them another basic. If they attack with their Elf, my Ragavan gets to dash. Okay, just aggro bolting. My homie. Bloodbraid Elf has connected. That's fascinating that they got a mountain with their choice to get basic forest when I have Blood Moon in play. They just thought the Lightning Bolt was that important. This is the Primeval Titan turn, so I think I do want... I mean, Farseek is pretty exciting, honestly. Pulling myself ahead on lands. But, yeah, Torpor Orb. Like, I'm more worried about Primeval Titan here. For sure. I would have loved to cast that Farseek, though. Make no mistake. And now that they're at 9 and we're in this sort of scrappy zone, I'm really glad all my Lightning Bolts are in my deck. And Torpor Orb also stops like Thragtusk or Obstinate Baloth or like whatever they might have. I don't even know. I'll land to punch through Bloodbraid Elf would be nice here. We did it. Unholy Heat this thing. They held Bloodbraid Elf back to block. We've seen Lightning Bolt in their deck. Let's just hope they don't have another one, I guess. Ragfather, connect, please. Alright, it connected. Can I get another Farseek? I'll cast it this time. Nope, exiled a mountain. Sure. Okay, I now have enough mana next turn to dash Ragavan and hold up Archmage Charm. Oh, claiming my Blood Moon in the end step. That's scary. Okay. That turns on Primeval Titan, turns on Scapeshift. Oh, Scapeshift is the scary one. Fuck Primeval Titan. Yeah, I'm at 17, so the shift is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, they... Oh, okay. They almost cast Scapeshift without playing their 7th land. You need 7 lands to Scapeshift for 18. All right, it is prime time. The orb still has that under control. It still gets to attack next turn, which is bad news. I might need to Archmage Charm now to find Unholy Heat. And if I'm going to do that, I should play Dragon's Rage Channeler first to give myself an extra look. And then blue, blue, blue. I'm going to draw 2 cards. Look at 3, looking for Unholy Heat specifically. DRC in the bin. I get 3 more looks here. Gonna get another basic. Consider. Brazen Borrower, I'm a mana short on that one. Graveyard, consider, graveyard, rest of iteration, bummer. All right, they're gonna get a swing with prime time. Oh, and another one. Does this matter? Not if they don't have haste. Oh, Rex Age. That card doesn't work with Torpor Orb in play either, opponent. Hate to break it to you. Summoner's Pacting for Rex Age to destroy Torpor Orb might be my new favorite play. And it doesn't matter, because they're about to get 2 Valakutes and light me up. But I guess they need a mountain in hand. Valakut isn't a mountain itself. So if they get 2 Valakutes and have mountain in hand, they could also just get Valakut mountain and kill my creature. That's fine. Okay, Valakut is online. I'm taking 6 from combat. I get to iterate next turn. Dig deep. Ugh. Now I need to find 2 Unholy Heats. It's getting bad, team. Oh, look. That's actually not bad. I will take that. All right, red, blue. Now I need 1 Unholy Heat. I have not made a land drop this turn. Okay, how much mana do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can have 5. I actually need 6 mana to do everything I need to do, though. This is really bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Okay, so mountain in hand. Yeah, so I have to play Blood Moon or else I'm just dead to Valakut. And then Mishra's Bauble has to cantrip into exactly Unholy Heat and to leave me at 3 life. And then I have next turn to rip into another Unholy Heat. Because I'm dead to the 6/6 beatdown, whether it can tutor lands or not. So Bauble in hand, iteration on the bottom, exile mountain, play Blood Moon. I have 1 more mana than I thought I did. So now I can cantrip into, like, if I draw Consider, that's also another look. All right, moment of truth right now. Oh, they're dead. They're dead. Summoner's Pact, I forgot. Woo. If you saw that in the chat, don't worry, I was always casting Blood Moon, but I missed that. That turn that they decided to bolt my Dragon's Rage Channeler with their extra land instead of getting a forest. Holy guacamole. I forgot about... Get fucked. All right, I played that extremely well, apparently. Yeah, and that Summoner's Pact they cast was to get that irrelevant Rex Age. I just, like, checked it out of my brain. I'm sure that one will haunt their thoughts forever. Okay, we saw Nature's Claim. And probably assume Force of Vigor in the deck. Do I want to do, like, the Flusterstorm game plan? Jace is kind of like... It's kind of embarrassing to call Jace an answer to Primeval Titan, so I won't do it. I'm just going to use my Unholy Heats and counterspells judiciously and lean into the Blood Moon. I don't think my deck changes. Like, the option is bring in Flusterstorms for, like, a cheap way to fight their cheap answers. But again, like I said against Amulet, if I have Blood Moon in play, they probably have a lot of unspent mana to pay for Flusterstorm with. So I'm just going to submit the same deck again. This hand is completely fine. I'm going to keep it. You don't need to, like, mulligan to Blood Moon. It's a 3-drop anyway, and you have a lot of selection. Okay, I'm going to shock in for DRC. And then play Bauble right away, get the selection off of that. Even if they Lightning Bolt me, doesn't matter. They're not going to Lightning Bolt me. Bauble, trigger, Torpor Orb can stay on top. That's actually a really good one. And let's have a look at your deck. Oh, Prime Time is going into their hand. Good to know. Invest in the future. Knowledge is power. Steve. Spire Bluff Canal. Good find. I'm going to try to get Delirium right now. There's a land and an artifact in my graveyard. Considers an instant. I have 2 Surveils to hit a creature. All right, let's go. It's actually 3 Surveils. I could bolt. There's a sorcery. Yeah, we're in there. All right, Delirium achieved. Ragavan. No, I'll put that in my hand. And I can bolt their face, but don't need to do that. Not anymore. I found the Delirium. Just get in for 3. Play Rag. And ship it. They're untapping into Bloodbraid Elf, if they have that. You can't, well, you can scape shift on 4 mana, it just doesn't do what you want it to. Wow, they kept the Steve back as a blocker. Farseek. So they're either telling me they don't have a 4-drop, or they respect Ragavan way too much. But they are untapping into Primeval Titan, so I'm going to respect that. Alright, I'm just going to make my attacks with both creatures. If they sacrifice Steve, if they trade Steve with Ragavan, then they're not untapping into Primeval Titan. If they sack block, I'll just play Torpor Orb, call it a day. I could have bolted Steve and connected with Rag. I don't think I need to do that, though. At least I hope not, because it's too late now. Alright, I'm going to fetch an island. If they have exactly Nature's Claim, then untap Primeval Titan, I could be in some trouble. But I get 2 Surveils off of this. They're fetching in response. Okay, they don't have the Nature's Claim. Basic Mountain into the graveyard. Basic Island also into the graveyard. I'm not looking for lands right now. I'm trying to end this game. Okay, 6/6 Trample in play. I have a lot of looks at Unholy Heat this turn. I'm going to lead on Expressive Iteration. This is going to see 5 cards. Consider Graveyard. DI Graveyard. Unholy Heat, come on. Shit. Alright. Counterspell in my hand. Rag on the bottom. Exile Scalding Tarn. Play Scalding Tarn. Now I have Counterspell up. Is that actually good? We could also just jam Murktide. Unfortunately, Ragavan only has 2 power, not 3, or else the bolt would get through here. If I cast Murktide Regent, I would just die outright to Scape Shift. If I hold up Counterspell and they get 2 Valakuts and then ramp twice and they just roast my board and then I have nothing, I'm top decking to Lightning Bolt to kill them. Don't really like that either. This is a really tough situation. Right, maybe I just bet on Lightning Bolt and Counterspell. If I cast Counterspell, I get 2 Surveils, which gets 2 more looks at another Lightning Bolt. We'll see what Primeval Titan does. I can also counter a ramp spell, which is a mountain they don't get to put into play. Oh, they're also not even close to 6 mountains. Yeah, those 2 basic forests. Okay. Yeah, by playing around Blood Moon, they also made their Valakuts worse. Yeah, this is actually much better than I thought it was. Yeah, that doesn't even trigger. Okay, yeah, I can take 6. This is not a problem. They played a mountain from their hand. I assume it's going to kill one of my creatures. Yep. They're still dead to bolt. Sakura Tribe Elder. Oof, that one sucks. If I counterspell this, they're dead on board, but they could still have Scapeshift in their hand. Wow, that is so shitty. Do I even think Scapeshift is in their deck against the deck full of counterspells? Is that even a thing I think I need to respect? Oh, this is tough. This is the hardest play I've made so far. Alright, I'm gonna counter this and hope for the best. I also just went to 9, which is a multiple of 3. Scapeshift has me dead anyway, but we'll see how this goes. DRC, found Unholy Heat on top. I will keep that there. I can at least answer Primeval Titan if my squad dies this turn. Okay, cool, they're just passing. Alright, maybe they're dead. Maybe I worked too hard. But that was the spot where they have spells that kill me. If they have 1 Lightning Bolt in their hand... Okay, they just don't have anything apparently. Farseek. Unholy Heat. The Primeval Titan. Blood Moon on top. Yeah, let's keep that there. Play my land. Play Murktide Regent. Okay. Fatty Daddy Murktide Regent. They're dead to bolt. I'm going to make them answer the board before I commit my bolt. I'm not sure what they could have. Like, we've seen Nature's Claim. They don't have an artifact they can target to gain 4. I don't know if this deck plays, like, Weather the Storm. I don't know. I can hold my bolt and make them act first, because they have to answer the board before they can worry about being at 1. They just cracked their fetch land and died. They'll never know about the bolt. That was scary. Little second Primeval Titan matchup in a row, and this one actually felt scarier than Amulet. That was wild. 2-0 though. Keep it rolling. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. We're on the play in round 3 against our first companion enemy of the match. I'm going to keep my hand, even though it's a little reactive for my taste with this deck. I'm not going to mulligan this. Lurrus could be anything. Like, it could be anything from Burn to Grixis Control and Jund, Hammer. Like, there's just so many Lurrus decks. It's hard to... Being a Lurrus deck tells me very little about their deck. Oh god, is this Mill? Is this the blue-black one? Yuck. Well, I guess I'm just fetching fearlessly into the Archive Trap. Gonna get my Steam Vents. I'm not gonna bolt their face. Okay. Bolt will find a target eventually. Now I'm holding up Counterspell. I can bolt Hedron Crab if it arrives. Consider. Okay, this is probably not Mill. They kept the card that they considered. Some blue-black control deck. Do I think holding up Spell? Yeah, I still have land drops. I can wait. I can still consider in this end step and cast Counterspell, or just Archmage Charm to draw 2. There's a lot of action in this hand. I don't need to cast my Expressive Iteration into Counterspell over it. This taps for black right now, because they played a land this turn. This looks like a good time to try to draw 2. There's no Hull Breacher in this format. That's nice. Counterspell that, sure. That lets me untap into Raggy Daddy, and this now makes blue instead of black. Like, all of their stuff has gone the wrong direction. Sneak this guy in here. Get a connection. Thing in the Ice. Yeah, I'll cast that. Hell yeah. Okay, I have Thing in the Ice. Gotta hope this transforms. I should have read it first. Yeah, it just transforms. It doesn't like exile and come back as the other side. I think most transform cards don't leave play, but there are a few that do. So it's worth checking in on once in a while. Do I dash Ragavan? Is that even the play? I could almost flip Thing in the Ice this turn. I could just cast Ragavan. Put it into play. That's a non-boat with Thing in the Ice, but it's okay. Now I'm driving. Look at me. I'm the awoken horror now. Fatal pushing Ragavan. That's fine. Archmage Charm. Target player draws 2. I'm not going to fight over that. I'm going to fight over whatever is going to remove my precious Thing in the Ice. Ooh, the Blood Chief's Thirst. I mean, I could take the 2-for-1. Like, this was a free card off of Ragavan. Could also cast Counterspell. Yeah, I'm gonna cast Counterspell. See if I can keep this thing around for a minute. They might cast something scarier afterwards, or just win this fight. Either way, whatever. Gonna make my move. Alright, that got countered. And we're just in my turn. Oh, I found another Counterspell. Okay, I can EI now. I am looking for the land drop. Counterspell. Counterspell. I think this fight is worth having. Down in the lock. Yeah, this is a bummer. I just like F2'd and passed priority last turn on their turn, and I didn't cast Consider, which would have been worth 7 damage right now. But instead, here we are. Mishra's Bauble. That's clearly the draw for the turn, or else they would have played it before. Bobbling me. 2 cards in their hand. They could wish for and cast Lurrus and Bauble immediately, but I'm a red deck without a target yet, so that would probably be pretty bad. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, consider flip Thing in the Ice. They know I have Archmage Charm. Snapcaster Mage would definitely target a removal spell. Next turn, if they wish for Lurrus, they cast Lurrus. No, they don't have enough to start snapping back yet. And I'm going to cast this Archmage Charm. Though they knew I had it, they could have Snapcastered in the upkeep before I drew that. So it's weird they did it then if they don't have another answer. Do not put that card in my graveyard. That's my best card in the whole deck. In a matchup like this, anyway. Alright, my horror is in there. If Cryptic to bounce it. Oh, Memory Deluge. Alright. I wonder if this deck even has Cryptic Command, or if Memory Deluge is just what people do these days. Yeah, if I had considered in the end step 2 turns ago, they would be at 3 right now and dead to either of these 2 bolts. after needing to answer Awoken Horror, so I just like straight up missed 7 damage. Bauble. I love seeing Bauble. That card's not good on the front, and they need high impact cards right now. And a Polluted Delta, so that, like, land and Bauble are basically both whiffs here when they need something that answers Awoken Horror. Cling to Dust is a redraw. Alright, that's another just mana spent. I mean, at least this one cantrips, but it's air. Well, there's Lurrus in hand. Please deploy the sad blocking Lurrus. If they play Lurrus, I'm pretty sure I win. They would need Force of Negation to get through that, because I can bolt Lurrus, attack, bolt their face. Okay, I think I want to attack first. Yeah, attacking first, like whether they answer Awoken Horror or not, will determine what my Expressive Iteration needs to find, if I even need to cast the card. Okay, they do have a Fatal Push deal. That also taps them out going into the phase of the turn where I want to resolve a high impact spell. Like Expressive Iteration. I'm going to put Consider in my hand, Misty on the bottom, exile Scalding Tarn, play Scalding Tarn. I'm going to fetch a basic and cast Serum Visions. Murktide Regent and Mishra's Bauble. Bottom Bauble. I actually do kind of want Murktide. I can bolt Lurrus. It's going to get 1 card on the way through. They do have Memory Deluge in their graveyard as well. My top card is Murktide, so I'm not going to consider right now. I can consider now, which if it finds Counterspell, can fight over the Murktide. Bauble into the graveyard. Ooh, Ragavan. That's a different sort of game. If I dash Ragavan, and they spend resources on that, then Murktide Regent can show up and be huge. We know their hand is Lurrus and some number of mystery cards. 2 cards. Some mysterious number. It's 2. Right, they're deluging in response. From hand. This was not the 7 mana one from the graveyard. So Lurrus can kill... Oh no, Murktide Regent's going to make Drown in the Loch worse. I was going to say Lurrus can get Snapcaster, which can counter or kill Murktide, but my graveyard's going to be a lot smaller than that. There are 6 cards in my graveyard, and they need 7 to kill Murktide with Drown in the Loch, or counter it. Wait, did I count wrong? Oh, there's 9 cards still in my graveyard. What the fuck am I talking about? I was looking at my exile pile instead of my graveyard. My graveyard was just huge. Uh-oh. Now I'm in trouble. They've maneuvered to the point where they can jam Lurrus on an empty board, and I don't think... I think Lurrus says on each of your turns. Yeah, each of your turns. So they can't, like, hold up Snap Counterspell off of Lurrus on my turn. They could also, like, Lurrus Thing in the Ice. They could Turok me here. Oh, wow, that would be bad. They have 1 card left in their hand. Please don't be a banger. Snapcaster Mage. They don't have discard spells, right? Are they just going to Archmage Charm to draw more cards? Yeah, okay, that's fine. That taps them really low on their turn. And they found a Bauble. They are pretty thin on juice over there, but the resources are actually really close. Like, they have way more lands than me. They have more cards in hand. Like, they're actually way ahead on resources. I'm going to bolt Lurrus immediately. That comes first before I do anything else. And then I'm going to draw a card with Fiery Islet. And I guess I'll play Spire Bluff Canal. Could die to this Snapcaster Mage. Maybe I should have bolted it. Oh, I'll still bolt it. Yeah, bolting their face at this point seems unlikely. I'm just going to commit to the scrappiest possible game. I should have waited for Consider to resolve before I bolted Snapcaster. That gives them information to make a cantrip decision with. And we just got a taste of Control Deck with Lurrus versus Control Deck without. The guy was ahead, but they were really patient with their Lurrus, and then suddenly, like, here's this jerk. And now Memory Deluge is at the flashback mode, and they have 2 of them. Straight up Dig Through Time occurring. I have 2 answers to Thing in the Ice in my hand. So there's at least that going on. Alright, looks like they're going to try to dress down a Thing in the Ice. It arrives with no counters when you do this. See how many they actually have. There's 1. Alright. So, in the end step, I'm going to Unholy Heat this thing. I didn't actually look. I hope they can't take me off Delirium with 1 Cling in the Dust. No, they can't, because I have 5 card types. They do have Drown in the Loch. I have my second answer to Thing, though. And I'm going to crack my fetch now, thin out my deck, get this Steam Vents into play tapped. Okay, so whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, okay, so they have to cast a spell before this flips. Red, blue. Those are the colors my deck can make. Engineered Explosives on 2. If they have Counterspell here, I'm fucked. Maybe I should have started with Ragavan, see if they want to fight over that. Alright. I look pretty dead. And the thing flipping bounces Snapcaster. Yeah, that's a combo. It's good stuff. I'm going to deploy Ragavan as a blocker. And I've lost this game, but let's squeeze out whatever precious clock seconds we can. Consider... You should concede this game in real life to make sure you have time to win the next two. But with the chess clocks, I'll chill a bit. Brazen Borrower can reset this, but we know they have Snapcaster and a graveyard full of juice. And here's the lethal attack. Okay, bang. All right, Relic of Progenitus is going to come in this matchup for sure. Okay, so Torpor Orb turns off Snapcaster Mage if that's something I'm really interested in. Jace the Mind Sculptor is really good for this matchup. Mystical Dispute and Flusterstorm are both good here too. Engineered Explosives is the only thing in my list that can kill a flipped thing in the ice. 9 is a lot of toughness. I would need Bolt and Delirious Unholy Heat. That sounds like a big ask. Murktide Regent seems really important here. I think if I had come out a little faster, like I kept that really reactive hand, not sure what they were playing yet. And I think if I just had like turn 1 DRC that game, I would have won it. But now we know. I don't love Mishra's Bauble here. I have other artifacts that are going to be in the deck at this point. Lightning Bolt hits Luris, but not Thing in the Ice. It does hit Face, which was almost relevant that match, but I think I need to play a little heavier than that. I wasn't really paying attention to how many basics they played last game. Like, there's a world where Blood Moon takes them off double or triple spelling in the late game. I do like Unholy Heat. All the creatures are required. Do I want more explosives? And if I do, what do I cut for them? I mean, Brazen Bar. Oh, that one is a main deck answer to a flip thing in the ice. I think I'm just gonna do this. Jace is also an answer to a flip thing in the ice. So I have game now. And then Mystical Dispute's also really good at countering it on the way down. Right, I'm going to do it this way. Ooh. All in, baby. I'm keeping this. This one needs a little bit of help, but if this Ragavan connects, that's the help I'm looking for. This one, Basic Mountain's kind of a beating. Like, what's that even in the deck for? Like Ghost Quarter or Field of Ruin? Generally, you don't want that. All right, Island. There's no Hydroblast in this format. Hope they don't have a gut shot. Ragavan, do your thing. Raggy Daddy. Found a Bloodsheath Thirst. Well, glad I took that from them. And then I can play DRC and Serum Visions. Got 2 looks at my land here. Put on top. Draw. And Murktide Regent. I don't want that for a very long time, but I want the Spire Bluff Canal now. Top. And I guess I could have played Relic this turn for velocity, milled the Murktide Regent. Yeah, I need to get into the headspace of manipulating cantrips with Surveil. Like, that's a really important skill. I would have liked to mill the Murktide and cast Relic this turn. Okay. Yeah, if I had cast Relic this turn, that Drown in the Luck. Oh, but I would have milled one. Yeah, it would have still worked. Never mind. It's fine. I think Expressive Iteration is the play this turn. Blue, red. Like right now while they're tapped out. DRC. I actually think I want that. Put that on top. Yeah, there's already a creature in the graveyard. I want to keep threats coming. Consider or Flusterstorm in my hand. I think Flusterstorm in hand. Consider on the bottom. Exile DRC. Land DRC. Just keeping pressure on their answers is the line here, I think. Thing in the ice. Okay. That's actually difficult to manage right now. The counterspell helps. I have 2 card types in the graveyard. I could Expressive Iteration. That gives me a lot of looks at stuff. Yeah, it's an iteration turn. And Flusterstorm helps me back it up. Unholy Heat. Oh, I want that, but I also want it in the graveyard. Oh, that's a really tough choice. Okay. Into the graveyard with you. Consider into the graveyard with you. Put Ragavan in hand. Land on the bottom, exile land, play my land. There's 3 card types. Fetching gives me Delirium. Do I want the basic, or should I just shock in a Steam Vent? I'll take the basic and mush with my squad. And then I can hold up Counterspell or Flusterstorm. Yeah, I'll hold up Counterspell. They would need land and 4 1-drops this turn to flip their thing. And if I don't do things, then their reactive spells don't work. I'm just going to be attacking here. Another 6 damage coming in. Snapcaster Mage. Counterspell that. Some Delirium triggers. Murktide. Graveyard. Land. Yard. Just milling everything. Fuck it. Racing to the finish right now. Put them to 5, and I could commit Ragavan. Yeah, I like Ragavan here. And I'm still holding up Flusterstorm. They've removed 0 counters from their thing in the ice in 2 turn cycles. Stealing one of my creatures. No, you're not. Flusterstorm. Land number 5, Graveyard. Still looking to replace that Unholy Heat that I lost earlier. Right, they have a Fatal Push. That works. Prevail. Archmage Charm. I don't want that either. I actually just win if they don't have Force of Negation. I can bounce their creature with Jace and attack for 5. I'd rather draw a red spell so they don't know that I boarded in Jace. But I am going to make the play that wins the game. There's Jace. Bounce your thing, in for 5. Okay, they see the line. That's the difference between a game where you have 1-drops and a game where you don't. In these control matchups, you really need to take the aggressive tempo role. Blood Moon actually looked like it would be really good if I can find a spot for one, if that's like even part of the game. I don't think they can ever cast Luris if there's a Blood Moon in play. Like, what would I cut for that? Do I get off Engineered Explosives in 1 Blood Moon? You don't need a lot of this card. I don't know if I want both of them. Maybe on the draw, the Explosives is more important for the thing in the ice. But Brazen Borrower and Jace do both challenge that in a way that my main deck is better. Well, Brazen Borrower is in the main deck, but Jace also helps. Yeah, I think a fun of 1 of Blood Moon to get them if they're not ready in the mid game or late game even. Well, or just in my opening hand, I'll keep. No basic islands in this hand. I'm going to have to figure that out. They have a bauble. They baubled themselves. They have the little fetch land trick. They shocked in Watery Grave. Scary. All right, DRC. They are representing Fatal Push here. So if I spend this turn casting Serum Visions, or I could hold up Mystical Dispute for their thing in the ice, but I don't think they're going to do that. I'm going to Serum Visions, and then next turn I can play DRC and then fluster their Fatal Push. Okay, they're just jamming off a Spell Pierce. That's fine. Hopefully they will be unable to Spell Pierce Blood Moon 2 turns from now, and then the game will end. Yep, another non-basic land. No thing in the ice, that's good news. And now I can play my Channeler with Flusterstorm back up. I can dispute a counterspell or a fluster a removal spell. I still need a basic island before I can jam this Blood Moon, though. This isn't just some shit I get to slam into play. Do I fluster now or do I dispute now? Because dispute can hit thing in the ice later. Fluster will never hit that. Dispute can be countered back, though, and fluster mostly can't. All right, I'm going to dispute this. Get my homie in. And they do have black spells I care about in the deck where Flusterstorm plays and Mystical Dispute doesn't. They had the Fatal Push. It's gone. Draw for turn. Archmage Charm. I'm going to consider. I would like to find a basic island so I can move forward with this Blood Moon plan. Are they just going to aggressively counterspell a Consider? Okay, Consider in response. That's fine. Firebluff Canal. That's not what I want. I mean, it does cast this Archmage Charm in my hand. Alright. I put it in the graveyard, though. The Brazen Borrower can answer thing in the ice if necessary. They did fetch basic island with their fetch land. It's unfortunate. Soul Guide Lantern. Okay. That's mostly whatever. They did take me off Delirium with it. but that's okay. Now I need a basic island for multiple reasons. All right. Fiery Islet. That can cast Archmage's Charm, or just draw a card in the end step as needed. They're just drawing a card off Soul Guide. That's kind of a shitty use of that, but I guess with Luris, you can draw cards early and then cash out late. I'm going to draw a card with Islet. I think that's better than casting Archmage Charm into a counterspell. Right now I can Blood Moon with Flusterstorm back up, but they have a second fetch land in play. I'm just going to run Relic of Progenitus out here. See how they feel about that. We both have Graveyard Hate in our deck, it turns out. Going for the Blood Moon with Fluster backup on this turn would have been interesting, but I would really like them to fetch a Watery Grave with this Polluted Delta. But if I put Blood Moon on the stack, then they're going to know for sure that they need to get a basic. Okay, they got basic anyway. That's fine. But I gave them the chance to mess up. They just chose not to. Selfishly chose not to fuck it up. I'm going to fetch in the end step. I don't want them to be able to manipulate the stack where, like, I can't Archmage Charm something I need to. Like if I crack a fetch land and then they cast a spell when I don't have 3 mana, it's not interested in that game. I am interested in popping the graveyards right now, though. Their graveyard's pretty juicy. If I do this now, then we're going into next turn where Drown in the Loch is not a card they can play. Oh, this was a good draw. Okay, let's move in on this Blood Moon plan, I guess. Red, 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 Blood Moon, with 2 counter spells to protect it. We know they have 6 spells in their hand. I'm going to dispute the counter spell first. Can't pay for that. Another counter spell, and I'm going to fluster that one. Same target, same target, same target. Then I'll move 2 to the original counter spell just for fun. And Blood Moon resolves. Let's see if that master sideboard plan pays off here. I have more mana and my deck is red. They now have 0 black mana, which is going to be all their removal. Double blue casts like a counterspell per turn, but nothing else. Murky Rage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can just jam it right now. Get ahead of this. Soul Guide Lantern. Here's a 5/5. They do have their double blue up, but I got to tax their castable spells somewhere. Drawing a card in response. And dress down. Okay, so it'll just be a 3/3 when it arrives. It doesn't get the extra counters. But it's in play. There is a threat in play, and they don't have any black mana. That's where I wanted this game to be. Another mountain. Now I am... Oh, Aggressive Iteration, fuck yeah. I guess I should... I don't know, maybe attacking first doesn't matter. So to say I should attack first in case they do something, but what are they going to do? If they don't have black, are they going to bounce my Murktide Regent? I don't know. Okay, Iteration in hand, land on the bottom, Serum Visions in exile. I'm going to cast Serum Visions. Like, we're both heads up into this Blood Moon right now. Nobody's holding up anything. I'm going to put Consider on the bottom and Ragavan on top. Now we're doing it. This is the power of, like, a single piece of constrictive technology in a control mirror. Like, I just brought in 1 Blood Moon. It identified that their deck was worse as a Blood Moon deck against Blood Moon than mine is. And this 1 card took my time, cast it on what, turn 7, and now half their deck is uncastable, and the half that is castable really has significantly diminished velocity. I am going to have to Unholy Heat this Snapcaster because the Ragavan on top of my deck wants to connect this turn. And they're not going to be able to do anything about that with red. Dash Rag Daddy. Ragavan connects, exiles Polluted Delta. And now I'm holding up Archmage Charm, which I think is better than casting Expressive Iteration. They're dead very quickly here. I'm going to cast Brazen Borrower in the end step, put lethal on the board. If they have Cryptic Command, they did just find a 3rd island. Even if they have Cryptic, I want to make them deal with something in the end step, and then I can untap and protect my lethal attack with Archmage Charm. Dash Rag. Moment of Truth. We are entering combat. Do they have Cryptic Command? Nope, we're just attacking. I guess they could have Snapcaster to block. Archmage's Charm stealing my Rag. I will counter target spell. Bang. You want to take bets how many black cards are in their hand right now? I bet the answer is somewhere between 4 or 5. GG's 3-0. Keep it rolling. I'm on the play in round 4 with an absolute heater. We keep these. This is the type of hand that could produce a turn 2 Murktide Regent, could have Delirium on turn 2. Like, this is an aggro monster. Opponent mulled to 5 and has no companion. My guess would be Tron or Dredge. It's like mull to 5. Like, modern decks are generally built so that hands are keepable. So it's probably a deck that's looking for something specific, and not having a companion. Like, Tron sometimes plays Gigantha, but sometimes it doesn't. Let's get a peek. All right, it's Thought Scour. Oh, it's just the mirror and they're unlucky. I'll take that. Counter spell. I want that on top. Okay. I guess it could still be Dredge. Like, Thought Scour is not unique to this deck. Okay, it is definitely the mirror. They have Bobble and Spire Bluff Canal. They're bobbling me. Nobody has any secrets anymore. I'm gonna bobble them. They're gonna Thought Scour whatever that card is, so I'm not gonna... It's not actually gonna make it to their hand, but I do want the card velocity for myself. Scalding Tarn, okay. Everybody draws cards in my upkeep. Another bobble. Good times. So they saw bobble. They did not see counterspell. I'm gonna fetch right away for basic island, and then I'm gonna bobble again. There's only 2 card types in my graveyard, so I can't get Delirious here. EI. I think that's one of the most important cards in the mirror, so I'll keep it on top. Even if it is a sorcery, I'll cast it eventually. Whatever. Doing what I was supposed to do right now. They Thought Scour in the end step. It gets rid of the Scalding Tarn that I knew about. Oh wait, no, they drew Scalding Tarn off Bobble. So I do have information. They milled 2 Unholy Heats. I'm glad to see those go. And they're drawing DRC. Their hand, Scalding Tarn, DRC, and 4 mystery cards. I'll counter most things that would go on the stack this turn. Because I have a fistful of counter spells. I'm trying to get Delirium and move forward here. Lightning Bolt. That will be good eventually. Yeah, I'll keep that on top. That's fine. Counterspell is an instant, so this expressive iteration will make me delirious pre-combat, and I have a 1-drop in my hand in Lightning Bolt. I did just... Okay. I was about to say I did just tap out into Murktide Regent, but I found the Unholy Heat. Put Unholy Heat in my hand, play Misty Rainforest, attack for 3. Murktide will be exactly a 6/6 if they cast it this turn. Unless, of course, they cantrip in the end step and then make a 8/8 version, but I have Bolt plus Heat that can kill that. So we got game. I hope they just slam a perfectly killable Murktide Regent here. Alright, 6/6 Murktide's in play. Do I need to think about... Okay, now I don't need to think about anything. I guess I can let this fetch resolve. What are they gonna do here? Kill my creature? Oh, cast Ragavan, perfect. Alright, deal. 6/6 is the correct size. I have this board under control. Unless they have, like, Surgical Extraction in their main deck. I'm gonna mop all this up right now. Leave that on top for the next thing. Yeah, red spells are as good as counter spells in this matchup. The creatures in play are irrelevant. The whole game is played around the creatures in play. I'm gonna Bolt Ragavan now before they untap and have counter spells. I can still Unholy Heat and counterspell on their turn, and they have 3 cards, and I have 2 perfectly clean answers. I'm gonna leave the threat on top of the deck. Keep the beats coming. Also, if I want velocity, I can draw the Dragon's Rage Channeler off Fiery Islet and then play it with counterspell up next turn. That does take a... No, that doesn't change the clock at all. Alright. I'm still drawing DRC, whether I have a card under it or not. Expressive Iteration. I could counter this, or I could counter the cards that come off it. I'll counter this. They decided that's enough. Okay, cool. Get ahead and stay there. Figure out what your answers need to look like and line them up appropriately. There we go. Okay. Mystical Dispute is good against Murktide Regent, which is the ultimately the most important card in this matchup. I can tap Relic to control my opponent's graveyard. Popping Relic doesn't seem great. I mean, we both care about Delirium and Delve kind of a lot. Flusterstorm actually seems really good here. Like, our spells matter. Like, if I can protect Ragavan from Lightning Bolt for a turn, that's a big deal. Jace is kind of wishy-washy. If you get it into play on a stable board, you're probably going to win, but Unholy Heat does deal 6 to it. There's no Pyroblast in this format, which is normally why I don't like Jace in Izzet Mirrors, but it's a little different here. Jace is also a soft answer to Murktide Regent, which I like, but what am I cutting from my deck to make room for the cards I'm already bringing in? Engineered Explosives is like on the watch list. Obviously, you can picture amazing boards where you just kill like a Ragavan and 2 DRCs with it, but that's all your threats too. I think I want to just slim down on artifacts and be interactive on the draw, at least. Like, on the draw, it's my job to stay alive, and on the play, I can start thinking about pushing the advantage. Like, having Jace on the play when they're already reacting to my aggression is a different thing than having Jace on the draw when I'm trying to tread water and stay alive against their aggression. Like, every removal spell's in the deck right now. My answers to Murktide are in the deck right now. Yeah, I'm playing it like this. Explosives also just doesn't line up well. Though I guess I could manipulate a board state where, like, I bolt Ragavan, let them advance with DRC, and then sweep up later. All right. I'm going to keep this hand. It does none of the things I just described that I want my hand to do, but it does have my own turn 1 Ragavan. We can dance. Serum Visions. I'm glad that's not a creature. They top-bottomed their Serum Visions. Ooh. I could rag now, or I could rag next turn with Flusterstorm protection. That's interesting. All right. I'm going to try to break serve and just shove the rag. If they, like, this puts them in kind of a tricky situation, because if they bolt on their turn, I could dash a second copy. But if they wait till my turn, I can Flusterstorm the bolt. Oh, there's kind of a pinch here, if they choose to play that way. All right. Let's draw the other one and dash to punish this line, please. Oh, Guide Lantern. All right. Okay, they have one-sided Graveyard Hate, and my Graveyard Hate only goes everywhere. So our decks are built a little differently in that regard. Okay. That is not the second Ragavan, though if we did have it, it would have been great there. But I guess you have to do it on that turn, because this deck has so many counterspells in it. Yeah, it's probably right to just answer it when you can. Expressive Iteration. I'm not going to Fluster that. It's too early. Like, we'll find a fight over Flusterstorm eventually. I don't need to pick one over this thing when they already have 5 cards in hand. Like, let me counter their Unholy Heat on this Murktide Regent when I get around to casting it. That's what I'm looking for. Or let me dash this Ragavan with Flusterstorm protection. Bang. They don't have red mana up anyway, but that was a good draw. Filthy little rag. It stole a Spire Bluff Canal from their deck, so a whiff. Basically a whiff. But now they have to play around Dash Ragavan for a while. I mean, if they just cast a 6/6 Murktide Regent right now, that's a problem. Dragon's Rage Channeler, okay. That's just a creature. It does protect from my Dash Ragavan. Not anymore. Okay, how do I get the most out of this Flusterstorm? If I dash Ragavan and they try to counter it, I can bolt DRC in response. Then if they counter that too, I can Fluster both. Okay, I'm going to dash Ragavan first. And then I'm going to bolt their creature. This also gives me enough Storm to Fluster a 1-mana spell. I'm going to let Surveil resolve. If they have a red spell, I was not able to play around it here. I am likely to remove their DRC at least. And they just milled a Murktide when it's actually really good on this board. That means they already have one. And they have a red spell to kill Ragavan. Okay. All right. Did what I could here. Their creature is dead. But we're pretty sure they have a Murktide Regent in hand. Let's see if they want to just pop their Lantern to make sure I can't keep up on the Murktide fight. Not yet. Yeah, they could also just wait till I cast Unholy Heat and then take me off Delirium, and that's kind of a checkmate. Yeah, I don't think you fight over Murktide. You fight over Unholy Heat. Because their Murktide they know is maximum size right now. There it is. Alright, I might have picked a fight I couldn't win. I can consider, and then Murktide. It plays into their counterspell. Don't love that, but gotta make moves. I want Channeler in the graveyard. No. I think I do want the selection of this. And I'm just gonna Murk right now. Before they get it in their head to pop their Soul Guide Lantern. Wait, neither of us have Delirium. Wrong. Nice try. Yeah. Doesn't work that way. Opponent is appropriately disappointed with themselves in the chat right now. And they're still ahead. They have an 8/8 to my 6/6, but they did just discard a card for no reason. I'm just going to take 8. And like, Soul Guide Lantern at this point, if they bomb me, it grows my Murktide. So that's actually starting to become a liability. They have 1 card left in their hand. I guess it's not Counterspell. Well, it might be Counterspell if they forgot they can't counter Murktide Regent. I'm just going to try to draw 2 cards. I don't think stealing their Dragon's Rage Channeler is the play here. Unholy Heat. I'll actually keep that on top, because that can kill Dragon's Rage Channeler, even if it doesn't kill the Murk. Oh, cool. I even have Flusterstorm to back it up. They can sack their Soul Guide Lantern to draw a card, and that will give them Delirium, though. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Whatever. That'll at least get rid of the Soul Guide Lantern. And I get to continue selecting here. Yeah, okay. They exile my graveyard, which grows my Murktide. Their thing gets bigger. We knew that was going to happen. Into the graveyard. Now it has to attack into my 7/7, though. And I'm going to play Steam Vents tapped. I am dead to Lightning Bolt. Oh, I could have attacked with my DRC to kill theirs, but they're losing theirs for free anyway. Then I can double block their Murktide next turn. And I just have to Fade Bolt for a while. Yeah, your boy has to fight. DRC is dead. I am in Bolt range. Flusterstorm doesn't save me. Right, DRC. Flusterstorm does save me now. Consider, that's really good. I'm trying to get this Murktide bigger. Ooh, okay. I can EI into Murktide and still Fluster, so put this on top. Consider, yeah, keep it on top. Lose a lot of velocity there, but I did find, the best spell in the whole deck. Graveyard with this one. Okay. Counterspell in hand. Serum Visions on the bottom. Exile Consider. I'm going to cast Consider. I'd like to find a land here. An untapped pain-free land. Put that in the graveyard. Consider, find basic island. Ooh, going to 1. Is that much different? No, I'm already dead to Bolt. Who cares? No, put that in my hand. I'm at 1. DRC has to fight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can make this the fucking max. I guess them having to block my DRC is the same as it not having flying next turn. Like, I'm just betting on having bigger creatures than them, and it's going to have to work. That was the whole plan here. Whammo. I guess I had a force blocked, but then my Murktide, it's the same size as theirs, and I can just, eat their squad. They don't even have attacks right now, versus having to hope a chump block holds. I don't know. If they just bolt me, I'm dead. But I do have Flusterstorm to help here. This has been an exciting match, no matter what happens right now. And we did it. We outmarked them. Undefeated, 4-0. We got a trophy match coming. On the play with a turn 1 Ragavan against a Luris strategy. I'm going to keep 1 land clearly, but I have Bauble to find another. I'm going to Bauble them first, see what they're up to. Not that this is going to change my play, but okay, Thoughtseize. This could be the Orzhov Hammer deck, or it could be any sort of Grixis or Jund pile. Either way, I'm glad to have Ragavan in under that. And I guess there's enough Luris decks that play Thoughtseize that I'm supposed to just Bauble in the upkeep on turn 1. Yeah, now they can take the card that I drew with Bobble if it's good, which it kind of is. But if they spend a turn thought seizing instead of removing Ragavan, I will very much take that. Please thought seize me. DRC. Okay, good. If they can get 3 card types in their graveyard, please don't have a second Bobble. Okay. They didn't have a second Bobble. Not yet, anyway. Oh, no! No new card types. No new card types. Oh. Please don't have a third Bobble. They're just spewing off their Bobbles right now. Okay, I would love to draw a land, and I guess I save my Unholy Heat, unless they have like Gut Shot or something that can punish me. If I find the land, I can DRC and get a trigger. Yeah, alright. I'm gonna fetch, shock in another Steam Vents, play my own DRC, eat up your homie. I'm gonna mill this land. I kind of want lands, but Ragavan's about to connect. And let's play for velocity at this point. I also want this Murktide region in play. Ooh, K command. Can't cast that one, unfortunately. But I'm glad it's out of their deck. So this could be Grixis Jund or Red-Black. We don't actually have any extra information yet. Alright, it's Grixis. Confirmed. There's the Thoughtseize probably taking Murktide. Unless they have a good answer to it already. I mean, my hand is just 2 divinations and a giant threat. So, decide. Alright, that also gives me Delirium. Creature in the graveyard now. Inquisition. Probably take Archmage Charm. But these are the 2 best cards in my deck when I'm nearly hellbent, so I'm happy either way. I'm actually very satisfied with this board state, considering how many spells they cast in the first 2 turns of the game. I'm going to attack first. I'm already delirious. See what Ragavan comes up with. Might find me a Kolaghan's Command or something. Awesome, I want to cast. Thoughtseize. Yeah, I'll cast that. I'm going to do that first. So that gives me more information with my expressive iteration. Put Island in the graveyard. More Thoughtseizes. Drown in the Loch, Death Shadow. It's Death Shadow. Or is it Drown in the Loch? No, it's Shadow. That thing's so big. Okay. Drown in the Loch, 2 Thoughtseizes is their hand. Expressive iteration, blue-red. Put that on top, because that puts lethal on the board. And so I'm going to put Counterspell in hand, Murktide on the bottom, exile DRC, land, and shock in DRC. I have 2 lethal threats to their, or 3 lethal threats to their 1 removal spell. Well, any 2 of them together are lethal, is what I'm trying to spit out here. The Thoughtseizes are basically dead. If they Thoughtseize the counterspell, then they're dead to any one of these 3 things. Yeah, that was just guns blazing, got up under the control-y version. They have a lot of the same cards that we do. They have Ragavan, DRC, Unholy Heat, but they get to be a Lurrus deck because they have blue cards and cool spells instead of Murktide Regent. Let's see who wins that fight. I think I like Flusterstorm. That can fight for cheap mana over discard spells, Kolaghan's Commands, removal, etc. I like Relic. They're a Lurrus deck and a Kolaghan's Command deck and a Snapcaster Mage deck and a Dragon's Rage Channeler deck. This could be another 1 Blood Moon situation. Could be a 2 Blood Moon situation, actually. I don't know how many basics they can afford to play in a 3-color deck like this. And even if they fetch some basics, there's going to be like a lot of the time that they don't have them. Okay, I think my baubles are out. I like Brazen Borrower. I like every 1 mana spell. I could shave a Murktide, expecting them to beat me up over my graveyard, or I could leave them all in, making them have the answer to the graveyard. I think I'm going to shave 1. Between the Thoughtseizes and Graveyard Hate they're going to bring in and everything, I think shaving 1 is reasonable. I'll cantrip into 1 when I'm ready for it, and I don't want it to be stranded in my hand when I'm not ready. And the rest of these cards look good to me. I would like to have room for Jace, but I'm not sure where I would put it. And like Engineered Explosives on the draw, I think is fine. Okay, let's do it. 1 lander with multiple 1-drops to cast. I'm going to keep this. Multiple 1-drops, lots of cantrips. I'm expecting to get discarded here, but Oh, okay. They don't have discard, they have removal. Drawing the second land is great. That means I can cast DRC now and dash rag next turn. All right, put this one heads up. The Watery Grave is tapped. They don't have removal, or at least not heads up. They don't. Not right now. I'm surprised they didn't shock it in anyway, being a Death Shadow deck. But I guess they have to take kind of a control role in this matchup. Now they're holding up black for my next thing. If I dash the rag, I'm still gonna do that. Like make them have it, right? I could also spend this turn cantripping, but that seems worse. If rag connects, I can cantrip anyway. It's sideways. We're in blockers. And it connected. Okay, cool. They just don't have a black removal spell. Exiled a Blood Crypt. I'm going to cast Serum Visions here. I'd like to hit my land drop next turn. Alright, there's a land drop. And I actually like all the cards here. Do I like Brazen Borrower yet, actually? No, I don't think so. I'm going to bottom Brazen Borrower and keep Dragon's Rage Channeler. If they dash their own Ragavan right now and take my DRC, that kind of sucks. That is an aspect of this matchup that you have to consider a little bit, but I'm not going to like just put a shitty card on the top. Oh, they Expressive Iteration and missed on their land drop. I don't like counting my chickens before they hatch, but this smells like we just got a big step closer to that trophy. And Rag can connect. Let's take a good card. Blood Crypt. Okay, yeah, this Ragavan has connected so many times in this league. And that thing in the ice the one time was the only actual card it stole from anyone. All right, now I have DRC in play, and I can consider in response to a damage-based removal spell to get Delirium. I'm going to consider in the end step regardless. I guess holding up Unholy Heat is worth something in case they dash Dragavan this turn. They found a swamp. They have basic swamp and basic mountain, so that Blood Moon is actually pretty embarrassing. Hopefully I'll be able to mill past it. All right. Consider Surveil 1. Ooh, EI in the graveyard does give me Delirium. All right, let's just shred. It's time for a Murktide. Oh, another one. All right, I'll keep the second one. Fine. If I dash Ragavan, then I'm holding up Counterspell. Maybe that's just the game to play. No, I'm gonna EI. If I find a land, I can also dash Rag or hold up Counterspell. Ooh, Murktide. That is the card I want, but it gives me one less look at a land. I'm still doing it. All right, found the land. Okay. Murktide in hand, Spire Bluff on the bottom, exile Scalding Tarn, play Scalding Tarn. I'm going to attack first because I'm going to lose Delirium when I Murk. Right, that's not what the counterspell's for. We get another basic island and Murk up here. Maximum size Murktide Regent has arrived. If I end up losing this game, it's because I sequenced poorly. Like I'm pretty sure we had all of the tools. And I feel like I'm so far ahead that I can sequence a little poorly and still get away with it. But this is going to be one of those games that I'm going to stand here or sit here and stare at the monitor for a while if I end up losing. Shocked and Blood Crypt. Terminate. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Now Ragavan can get back to work, and I'm holding up Counterspell and removal. Dash Rag. I can steal a Death Shadow, which would die immediately. So Archmage Charm. Oh no, because I have a fetch land. It actually is alive. Hey, speaking of, there's the homie. And I'm going to fetch Shock, make it a 3/3, and cast this 3/3 creature. Holding up Counter or Archmage Charm. They now have as many lands in me as me. All right, that can resolve. And Ragavan also resolves. Okay, end of turn. I'm going to make a move with Archmage Charm first. I'm going to steal their Dragon Rage Channeler. I believe that is the better creature on board right now, especially since I already have a second copy of this legend. I expect interaction here. Yeah, Drown in the Lock. That's fine. I go to my turn. Ooh, iteration is really nice. I could just kill DRC dash Ragavan and hold up Counterspell. Oh wait, nope, I don't have Delirium. Almost messed that up. All right, I'm going to steal DRC again. Why am I tapping Steam Vents? I should have tapped Basic Islands to do that. I hope that doesn't punish, but it should have been done that way. And then I think just holding up Counterspell is better. I'm going to attack. I can also heat a Ragavan, and I have Expressive Iteration to load up next turn. I can heat Rag now, but they would need to... Yeah, Rag connecting grows my Death Shadow, and they need to spend a removal spell on DRC and also have a counter spell to protect Ragavan before it has any chance of connecting. Kroxa, sure. I'm going to discard my Ragavan. I think he's done his job. If they go land Kroxa, I'll counter it on the second swing on the way back in. Yeah, they don't have a basic land that can cast Kroxa, so they have to shock down to 3. I think the trophy is upon us. And this counterspell will, I think, make it happen. All right, counterspell on top is really good too. And I can block Ragavan. I can kill Ragavan. Yeah, they're dead. We did it, squad. 5-0. Unless they have some... Even Gutshot I have beat at this point, because I can counter the Gutshot. One Unholy Heat for the road. And there it is. Another trophy in the collection with blue-red Izzet Murktide. This deck's just real good. I don't have a lot of profound thoughts about how to change the list or the place in the metagame. This is just a very good, proactive tempo control deck. You have must-answer 1-drops. You have must-answer 7-drops that are actually 2 or 3 drops most of the time. And some of the best card drawing interaction in Magic's history between Counterspell, Expressive Iteration, Archmage's Charm. Like, this is just a phenomenal deck full of powerful cards. And you do need to know how to sequence. Like, I made some sequencing errors here. I think I did a lot of things well, and I think I did a lot of things poorly in this league. Hopefully I was able to point out and talk about why they were good or bad when I did them. Knowing how to manipulate your own delirium and your opponent's delirium is going to matter a lot. We saw in that mirror match, the opponent lost track of their delirium and just discarded one of their premium cards as a result when they unholy heated without delirium. So there is a lot of room for error. There are a lot of tiny micro decisions here. When you get stomped by this deck, it looks like it just plays itself, but it actually doesn't. There's a lot going on. You make so many decisions in this deck, and a lot of the times they end up mattering. That's all I really got to say about that. This is not a pick up and play deck. I mean, it is pretty friendly to pick up and play, but you'll find the more you play it, the more you find these little edges to master, how to surveil, how to cantrip, like all of those things, when to leave up counters versus when to push damage. Like there's a lot of micro decisions in this deck, and you will get better as you put more reps into it. And sometimes you get rewarded with a 5-0 trophy. There it is. Harper, thank you for asking me to play this. I hope this league was helpful. I think we did some cool stuff, especially with sideboarding. I think like the one Blood Moon against Blue-Black Luris was pretty inspired, if I do say so myself. If I do pat myself on the back, that was a hammer, and I wouldn't have wanted to, but the one was phenomenal. And just there were some great moments in this league. I hope you all got a lot out of this. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, check out Patreon, check out the merch. All that stuff is there, and I'll see you for the next video.